Ain't nobody got time for the latest season of RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars.
Oh, I mean, I got a bit of time.
I have very little time for it.
It's a weird casting. It's a weird vibe. I'm not
Poor
sure.
casting.
I'm not sure what's happening.
Everyone's kind of like got their own drama. Everyone's not really focused.
I know we got time for cold weather.
Cold
and freezing
weather,
fucking
yes.
temperatures.
It's fucking cold
while
in Melbourne.
The rest of the world is enjoying a heat wave.
And everyone is in fucking Europe or in Paris or in
My parents are
Italy,
in Vegas and it's 100 degrees.
which is aka probably 42
something.
degrees. Yeah.
And they're just having a little blow up pool party with my niece and having a beautiful time while I'm wearing 17 layers. I'm from California. I can't do this.
Okay. Ain't nobody got time for doing the washing, girl.
Well, I can't. I mean, you're making more time than I am. That's
Oh
for
my
sure.
God. I hate doing the washing. Like, it's actually one of my most pet peeve chores.
Really?
I hate washing. I will vacuum. I will mop. I will clean dishes. I will make the beds. I will change sheets. I will do everything else, clean the toilets, but I hate washing.
Fine.
I hate washing.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, most people probably don't enjoy that. Ain't nobody got time for parking tickets. Especially how expensive they are.
ticket.
So you only have 1 hour to park somewhere.
And you're in a rush.
And you're already running around like trying to be as fast as possible, and you're like, okay, wait, come on, like they're not going to clock me at 1 hour, and then they do, and it's $95.
Right, but $95 plus the inflated coffee or breakfast that you're going on, plus a public holiday surcharge.
So we did a class of berries, and that's like $35 each, and then you add on top of that a parking ticket and a coffee and a shake. I can't. It's not only I don't have time for that. I can't afford that.
It is stressful.
I don't have time for when technology doesn't perform perfectly at all times.
Yeah.
Like drop calls, printer doesn't work, Wi-Fi is not connecting.
Bad signals.
Like you're actually like following all the steps and it's not actually working. Nothing infuriates me more.
Ain't nobody got time for slow people.
What do you mean?
Slow people, walking slow decisions. I don't know. Just everything is slow.
I don't have a problem with slow. I have a problem with people that just stop and are unaware.
Yeah.
Like, when someone's walking down the sidewalk and they just stop
Or in
right
a
there in front of you and they just stagnant, staying there. And then you have to kind of awkwardly walk around them. I hate when
That's
happens.
rude. That's just rude and nasty.
Speaking of people, I can't with
What?
do not have no time for maybe. Oh, let me see. I'll let you know. If you want to make plans,
You mean the
with me,
ghosters?
you make plans with me. If I'm coming to you and I'm saying, hey, let's go get brunch. Let's go make this plan. Let's go catch some drinks. Let's get some dinner. And you say to me, let me think about it. I think that sounds cool. I'll get back to you. I'll let you know. That is some flaky ass shit.
Flaky ass shit. Ain't nobody got time for that. Where did that saying come from?
It is actually a meme from this woman who was involved in a house fire. She woke up in the middle of the night. She wanted a ice pop, and then she smelled some burning, smoke.
She thought they were barbecuing.
She thought it was a barbecue on, but then she realized it was a fire. She ran out there so quick and she inhaled the smoke, and then she apparently got bronchitis, and she did not have time for that.
She said, I ain't got time for bronchitis.
Correct.
Not today. It was Kimberly Sweet Brown Wilkins.
Yeah, and you got to Google it because it's on YouTube.
It's a viral YouTube clip. It's hilarious. If you want a good laugh, she is like a great character. She didn't want bronchitis. She didn't have time to get sick. She didn't have time to deal with probably going to urgent care, paying $90 to see a doctor in the US. She probably didn't have
$90. That's probably $150.
Yeah, and then she probably had to pay for her poor bronchitis prescription. She ain't got time for that.
No.
So the point is, we ain't got time to waste on situations, people, places, and things that don't bring us the most fulfillment in our lives.
Hey, I'm Garrett.
And I'm Daniel.
And this is Modern Gaze. On today's episode, we are talking about the value of time.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I mean, have you heard of this saying, time is money?
Time is of the essence, darling.
So let's break it down. Like, what is time? How do we value it? And what are we wasting our time on? And what can we do better with our time?
Amen.
Let's get into it. So it's this concept of time and how we look at our own time, the time we spend with ourselves, achieving our own goals, working at a job, spending time with family and friends. Like time is so valuable and so precious, but sometimes we forget that. And sometimes we just like roll with the punches, or
we race through time too quickly.
Yeah.
We don't even allow ourselves to enjoy a moment or an experience or an event with somebody else because we're constantly thinking about the next thing and not being present in that point in time.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, even with our perception of time as a kid to as we get older, like I remember when I was 5, 6, 7, 10 minutes felt like an eternity.
Absolutely.
You know, and now 10 minutes like is like a
It's
flash
nothing.
of a second, you know? Yeah. So this like concept of getting older and time feeling more precious.
Time is of the essence.
Is actually a cognitive researched perception that is directly related to your age and to your mind and how much development you've had. I just feel like time is flying by. It's just flying by so quick.
I agree. Time flies by so quickly because we're constantly thinking about what we've got to do next or where we're going to be next or where we've got to go next. We're not actually embracing and enjoying the present moment to enjoy that 10 minutes. I mean, I just had my milestone 30th, and I feel like as I get older, I have less patience for people. And I also want to make more time for myself. I used to work at Target, like we have spoken about in rainbow washing. I worked at Target. I would work until 5, 6 p.m. on a Saturday. I would then come home, have dinner, shower, maybe have an hour nap from 7 to 8 p.m., wake up, get ready and go to the clubs.
Yeah.
And then I'd maybe go get a kebab or some McDonald's and come home at 3 or 4 a.m. and then go to work on Sunday morning at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Like time was nothing.
Right. It was carefree because you had less responsibility.
Yeah.
Right. And you probably,
But I think I also felt like I had more time to use.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
you did.
yeah.
You pretty much did.
Well, I have the same amount of time as I do now, darling.
But maybe you wanted to achieve less.
I think maybe it was just like enjoying life more.
Oh, okay.
So because I was carefree and, young-hearted, it was just kind of like life is a journey. Life is beautiful.
Being in your 30s now, I really feel like I filled so much of that with really valuable time spent. Like I don't feel like I wasted too much time. I think I wasted a lot of time in my 20s.
Interesting.
I was always really motivated. I was really focused on like that kind of career I wanted to have. And I was wanting to grow up faster than I really should have.
Which I think a lot of people do.
I was like, oh, I can't wait to be an adult because I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this.
And then now I'm like, fuck, you got to pay bills, you got to pay rent, you got to pay a mortgage, you got to buy groceries for yourself, you got to dress yourself, you got to clean your house. I mean, living at your parents isn't that bad.
Well, would you go back?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Well, I think you ask for more and then you get more and then you have less time. And then if you don't do the work to really pay attention to how you spend that time and how you allocate it and how you value it, and that comes with saying no to things, that comes with being more present. It means listening. It means actually really having your full self be in every single moment that you put yourself into. And if you get into that state of mind and not get into this kind of like, going with the punches and just figuring shit out and just rolling with it, you can be a lot more specific in how you live your life and the quality that life is. And also how much happiness and joy that hopefully will follow, in that practice. I know I'm an old soul. Like I always felt like I was older than my years, but now I feel like I'm a young soul. I feel like I've switched.
Same.
Where I don't feel
Can your souls change?
Like maybe, I don't know, maybe that was my breakthrough moment in my life, throughout my 30s, was that I don't need to age myself so quickly. I don't need to get there so quick. Like I actually have the
beautiful
power
skin
of retinol and high quality skincare products.
What's really funny, especially within the gay community, is this whole idea of a daddy and affiliating a daddy with a certain look. So I feel like it's not just a number or your age. I feel like perception of time could also be like a label that people attach to way someone looks.
Correct. Like someone has gray hair, like maybe they went all gray at 30.
Correct.
Maybe
so
at
they think they're
26.
old.
And then they have this older look or this more distinguished look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So time is this illusion. You know, it's like someone can be 35 and a daddy.
Well, what about these people who are actually like biohacking and they're trying to
Reverse their
age, right?
Correct.
So with what you can do through,
You need a lot of money for that.
well, it's like all the supplementation, it's all of these treatments.
I ain't got time for that.
It costs probably millions of dollars to get there.
No, I will pay for my skincare. But yeah.
How about biohack yourself by just getting enough sleep
And eat good
eating
foods,
well,
drink lots
and
of water.
lots of water.
Yeah, period.
Biohack number 1. So time is of the essence, right? Time is precious. Time is money. Time is a lot of things, right? But what's connected so closely to time? What do you think it is?
Money?
Nope. Patience.
Patience.
Which
I have none of.
to work on.
Yes.
There's this thought that as you get older, you have less patience, right?
Which is very true.
Less time for bullshit, right?
I have less time.
But that is also kind of like a loss of patience. And is a loss of patience really just a more particular expectation of how you want to spend your time?
No, I actually think it is a way I want to be treated. I think a lack of patience comes from me expecting maybe too much from people. Like if people are like flaky on plans, or if people leave me on red, or if people aren't giving me what I feel like I need, I feel like I'm being disrespected or not valued. I don't think it comes from time per se, but I feel like time is of the essence. So I am not being resourceful with my time and it's just wasting my life.
I actually am extremely patient. I'm like the opposite.
You're probably
right?
too patient.
I don't think I'm too patient. I feel very confident of how I've allocated my time. So I have the patience to allow it to flow.
Do you think patience, and I guess this perception of time also maybe comes from upbringing and childhood, hearing conversations from our parents about time and getting old and blah, 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 blah. I think our illusion or perception of time sometimes comes from parents.
Yeah. We learn our behaviors from our nurturing environment and like how we see our parents and our siblings and the people who are setting the examples for us.
For sure. And I always feel like my family, you know, every conversation I would have with them is even on the phone. Oh, it's already June. Oh, it's already December. Oh, they're putting out the Christmas stuff. You know,
time is flying by.
They always are talking about how quickly time.
Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that also probably made me, you know, think quick, move fast, have less patience because time is always running out. I've always heard conversations about how quickly time is going. So I feel like I need to rush and catch up.
Yeah. Well, what about like the power of now, the moment, like this actual time that we have?
I love it.
In the present.
I love being present.
And I think that when you really are focusing on that presence, that moment where you are in the act of living, right? And you can be more hyper aware of that.
Well, you have a fully different immersive experience when you're present with somebody.
Yeah. And and I think if you're doing something that you enjoy and that you love, and that brings you happiness and it's fulfilling, that time will fly and you won't even notice the time flying by.
But you will also leave that experience and probably maximize or utilize your next chunk of time.
Yeah.
Because it's each piece of time throughout the day is valuable.
Something that I think is a waste of time.
And not a good use of your time.
And not a good use of your time, but I am very guilty of.
Which I think many people are.
Is playing a stupid cat game or some kind of gem matching home building.
I like my Gardenscape game. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is a waste of time.
But it's not.
Except when it can actually help you mentally disconnect from some stress.
Correct. But let me also tell you, if I lose that game, I then am angry and frustrated and then I'm in a shit mood. So it's a waste of my time.
Ah, yeah. Well, then that takes away all the benefit.
Because my patience is zero. Correct.
Yeah.
So I should probably read a book or, I don't know, use my time in better ways.
How many times do you see people watching Netflix while also on their phone?
Correct.
Scrolling.
They don't even watch the show, right? So they're not present into that moment.
Or all these times that you see kids at a table with their parents and the family and they're all on iPads.
Wasting time.
All on their phones. A waste of opportunity for that family to be engaging in a more meaningful and memorable way.
And let me ask you this. Why do you think people waste their time?
I think it's just you don't know how to spend it. You just don't know. It's like when you have too much money, you just don't know how to spend it. Like you have so
It's a better problem
much
to have.
time. Everyone's rich in time, right? And the people that aren't are very, very aware of that. And I think, but when most of the time, when you have your health and wellness and you have not to worry about too much stuff, you're just not really aware of the time that you have, right? But when you are hyper stressed, or when you have an illness or you have loss, like you become more aware of time.
Yeah.
So most of us are so rich in time that we don't know what to do with it. So we freak out and I'll just play this game.
We've got so much time. I'll do it tomorrow. So what do? I'll revert to scrolling on TikTok or watching some videos.
But, I mean, to be fair, time is money, right? Time to do things costs money. To do nothing costs nothing.
Correct.
So people are also cheap with their time, right? Like, it's going to be too much for me to go bowling. It's going to be too much for me to go
the movies
on that drive, because I'm going to have to spend the petrol and the fuel to like go drive down to the beach.
That's true.
And then, it's like, it's going to cost this, cost that. And like those things do cost money. And I think that it's free to sit on your ass and do nothing. You can also be at home and have, free activities, right? You can meditate, you can work out, you can go on walks, you can
have a hobby,
go to the library, read a book. You can, if you have internet access, do some research and work on a new business idea. Like you can have proactive thoughts and scheduling put into place to help you fill that time that you don't know what to do with.
Or maybe you can just have, if you've got 2 hours, you have 1 hour where you use your time wisely and maybe do a skill or a hobby that you like. And then the other hour, you do whatever the heck you want. That's maybe people would think is a waste of your time. So you can do both.
So I can still play my cat sushi game?
You will play your stupid cat sushi game regardless of what I tell you.
Yeah, true.
So let's say you had 24 hours in the day. You had your 8 hours sleep. Time is of the essence, but you have no responsibility. You don't need to go to work. You don't need to make the bed. You don't need to clean. You don't need to cook. You don't need to do anything, but you have all this time. What would you do with it?
Nothing.
I just gave you 10 hours to fucking do whatever you want and you say nothing.
I think most people would say nothing. That is a very interesting question to be like, okay, yeah, you don't have to work. You don't have to do anything. You have unlimited funds. You have everything at your fingertips. People would just pretty much travel and they'd go shopping and they'd eat really beautiful meals. And if they had a good heart in them, they would also be philanthropic. I would obviously not do nothing, right? I would do something. I would do something that would like bring so much brightness and happiness to me. Like I've always said that I love storytelling. I love travel and I love exploring and seeing as much as I can see. So I think that if I had that opportunity, I would definitely be jumping up and down to be like in a new country every month. I would be.
Okay, we're moving on from that because that's very expensive. Okay, so what about things, as we come to the end of this episode, what about some things that people should make time for that will better suit them or better help them throughout the day?
Your morning routine is overlooked.
How you set up the day.
Yeah, how you set up the day. So if you find yourself like rushing out of bed and jumping into a car, jumping into a like transport to get to work, that is such a loss of time. Like that is really, really, really,
it's a loss of the day.
You don't get that back, and that is how you set yourself up for the whole day. And very often how you create routine in general. If you are able to set a routine that allows you to have a moment to just breathe and maybe that's just having a coffee or a tea.
Well, I see a lot of people now, like they're doing these ice baths and like meditation and like deep breath meditation, like deep breath workouts.
It doesn't have to be that deep. It could just literally be, I get a moment to look out my window and enjoy what I'm seeing and having a coffee.
Isn't the grass beautiful today?
Literally sitting there and looking at the damn grass.
What about waving to the people? Hello there, people. I'm just looking out the window.
Okay. Hiding in closet. That's what I'm like.
Don't waste your time watching RuPaul's Drag Race.
To be honest, how you would really create like a good opportunity to value time is to start your day off valuing time. Check in with yourself and be like, okay, I feel good. I'm feeling like, let's look in the mirror. Let's actually just have a personal self-reflection moment. Let's think about what I want to present and what kind of energy I want to give, what I'm feeling, and be truthful with yourself. Like if you feel shit, acknowledge that you feel shit and figure out what you need to
get out of the
you
funk.
get out of that or help you like remedy that. I think what we know from going through different stages of our lives is that time is extremely precious. I don't think that you need to necessarily have every second of your day pre-planned out to give you as much value and as much happiness and as much reward. I mean, that would be great.
If you need to take a day and sit on the couch all day and just watch some trashy Selling Sunset or, glamorous, you do you.
I love glamorous.
Love glamorous. We didn't even talk about that.
Anyway, but what I think if you are able to be more intentional about how you spend your time, intentional about who you spend your time with,
and organized with your time,
and try to be as organized as possible, you actually get into potentially a really great routine where you're more aware of what's going on around you, and hopefully it feels like time is flying by because you're having fun, but you're also really proud of how you've spent that time.
Yeah. Find your interests, find your love that brings you fulfillment and happiness in your life.
And I would even like sit down and write what you ain't got no time for.
You ain't got no time for it.
Like just write them down. And that can be like a really good guide and a good starting place for anyone to be like, okay, like I've actually spent too much of my energy worrying about this kind of shit. And I can eliminate some of those things and better use my time to help bring more happiness and more just joy into our lives.
And also have friends call out situations or people in your life that you ain't got no time for. Because let me tell you, I remember my best friend, Rebecca, whenever I would text her about something or someone or a boy I was dating at like 18, 19, she'd be like, ain't nobody got time for that. Boo. Spend your time with people that lift you up and that don't drain your energy and you feel good and positive when you leave them. Reestablish or redirect your energy into the things that you actually do have time for that will better serve you.
Yeah, 100%.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to Modern Gaze. We hope you're enjoying our podcast so far.
Make sure that you follow, turn on alerts, and even turn on auto downloads so that you get our episodes first.
Our episodes come out every Tuesday and they stream anywhere podcasts play.